All right, everybody, we got an interview here with Steven Zimmer. He's your losers bracket champion, I guess we'll call it that.
I like that.
You talked about Jim Glaser. I know he's a hero of yours. What kind of pressure you under here?
His balls are really old, so I don't think he'll strike as much. So yeah,
Well, the fact that he's outstruck you for the entire tournament, that does not intimidate you at all?
not one bit.
The fact that you're throwing modern equipment that was after the turn of the century and the fact that he's not, you think you have a chance against him?
Plenty of a good chance.
Zimmer thinks he's got a shot. Let's talk to Jim Glaser about that. Jim Glaser is our winners bracket champion. He went through quite a gauntlet to get where he's at right now. Jim, Steve Zimmer says you can't win with your equipment.
Well, my equipment is probably the same age he is, so we'll just see what happens.
It's going to be kind of sad when you take the young boys down.
Well, we'll see.
Now, I know that you've been competing every tournament the GLBA has had since we started the Masters and the Match Play Series. Come close a lot of times. Feeling a little bit of pressure?
No, I did win the match play once, so...
Actually, Jim, that was when there was 14 people.
Well, that is true.
Still a past champion. Let's root these guys on. Let's go.
There, Ken.
Now, you want to make a comment about Jim's bowling ball, I believe.
Well, it's a bowling ball that was used back in the 90s, you know, so it's surprising that it still strikes, but it does.
Oh,
You can see by that pitch there.
Jim Glaser opens us up with a great shot. Bowling ball, 20 years old or from last month. That's a quality shot, especially on a pattern he's not thrown on for a couple hours, and the fact that there was no warm-up shots. Now, Steve Zimmer, no matter how good or bad this goes for him, he's got better hair.
Well, I'll go along with that, yeah, that's true.
And at this point here, trust me, hair matters.
And Steven throws a quality shot also.
Now, I'm noticing, I thought Steven, that was the right lane. Steven played that a lot more to the right than Jim played that shot he played. Did you think that was equipment?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
I need a little more out of you than yes, definitely.
The urethane balls are not, the urethane ball that Jim's throwing is not going to hook like the reactive resin ball that Steven's throwing.
I think it's a pretty big shot in the match because this gives Steve the chance to put the pressure on Jim and make him think about it at least a little bit.
And Steven throws the double.
I got to be honest, I'm shocked. These guys come in. It's a big situation. They're bowling for a couple of dollars here, and they've both thrown nothing but good shots at this point. It's only 3 shots, but they found real quality shots.
We got 3 shots, and they've all 3 been strikes.
Now, the fact that Glaser has been in this position a lot of times, I think it's an advantage.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The experience definitely will show. Oh, and that
Not
ball
so
just
good.
did not finish, no.
Didn't even try
That
it.
shows the difference between the reactive resin and the urethane balls. That ball didn't have a chance to come back.
Now, for those of you who are going to be watching this for the first time and have not been here all day, Jim is the winner's bracket champion. Now, what that means is Steven's got to beat him twice to win this match. So Jim kind of has a little room to play with here and just see how this works out for him. I kind of like Jim personally to end up winning this thing in the long run, just because of the fact he's one of the better tacticians you find in the lanes. People may not realize that about Jim, but Jim is very good at adjustments and reading patterns.
Yes, that's very true, Ken. Yeah, Jim's put a lot of time into it. He's done a lot of practicing over the years to get to the level that he is, and yeah, he does know how to play the lanes. And that ball went up just a little high.
Actually, I think he tugged the hell out of it personally. He never got that ball off his hand clean, never got it to the right at all. I think that ball probably at the widest got to 16. I think he's probably trying to get that ball around 12 or 13.
Well, you got to figure, though, he's throwing a urethane ball, so, I mean, it's going to hold the line pretty well up until he gets to the pins, so I don't really think he really missed that much on that ball. I think the ball just happened to check up a little bit early on him.
Now, as we look at this next shot, we watch Steven getting ready to go, get his thoughts together. His hair looks fabulous. Does it not? It's flowing. When he actually walks to the line, you can see his hair flowing. No comment, Bill?
No, not on that one, Ken. I don't have a comment on that. Okay, and Steven just ripped the rack on that shot.
And I got to be honest, if you're a Facebook friend of ours at all and you've seen that shot, Steven's got to slap that out. He's guaranteed second place money. What's $1 at this point?
Well, we're talking about more than $1, Kim. We're talking about a difference between $1,000 and $500.
But my point is, he can afford the dollar bill. You can slap that out. That's a big shot.
Definitely.
You
He
intimidate
can do that.
Glazer. Glazer starts crapping his pants a little bit.
No. The one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to slap it out in front of a guy like Jim Glazer because he will bury you then.
Wow. I couldn't imagine living in fear like that, Bill, but you could feel that way. Wow.
And Steven just ripped the rack again.
Paralyzed the 5-pin on that. Just this kid here, he's young. Yeah, he's not very bright, but he's got game.
Well, the thing of it is, you were talking about earlier about the experience of Jim, but the thing of it is, these young kids coming up today, they're completely fearless. They don't care.
You know what it is? They've been through it. I mean, these kids are programmed almost now from high school up for nothing but match play, nothing but this type of situation.
Right, and he's come up through the high school ranks. He's a college player. He's seen this kind of competition before, so there's no fear there.
It's almost kind of sad because there's guys in this town that have put their time in and the effort in and have evolved with the game, and these kids are coming up now and they are looking at everybody like it's their rightful place to be here as opposed to earning it, I think. Seriously, I don't mean it in a mean way. I mean, these kids they expect to win.
Well, yeah, and so they should, especially with the equipment today and especially with the coaching that's available to them. That we didn't have the coaches back when we were bowling, when we started out, like these kids have today.
God, no. We had usually a lady that took our envelopes and our money and she walked around and see if we needed help tie our shoes. That was our. I mean, you think I'm joking? I'm not.
No, I agree with you. It's true. It's true.
Usually it was somebody who was like volunteering enough to help out here or there. And nowadays they literally get coaching and really they learn their equipment. They learn
That was a
the
very
pass.
good shot off of Jim's
It's a
hand.
big shot.
The ball read the lane very well,
In all, yeah.
and it was 10 back.
If Jim don't throw that strike, this game here anyways is over. He starts fishing a little bit, but now he's got a shot. I'm getting a note from my producer at this point, but I can't read it. He's going to need to bring it a little bit to me. Okay. Thanks, Gelman. Little chink in the armor for a little chink in the armor. You got the 10 out, luckily.
Yeah, he got that ball a little bit right, and it just didn't quite recover.
Well, I think if you had an arm sleeve like Glazer's, because that thing that Glazer's wearing, I'm guessing has something to do with probably rheumatism or arthritis or something at his age, it's probably something that could really help him out. Steven probably would have a little more lift on that ball with an arm sleeve like Glazer's. It's a good spare. Got to keep it clean right now. For those of you who can't see right now,
Right now, Steven's well into this match. He's got a commanding lead. He's about 30 pins up at the moment. So, Jim's going to have to bowl to get back in this.
right now what we have is Steven Zimmer's on 109 in the fourth with a spare working in the fifth, and Glazer's got 67 in the fourth working on a strike in the fifth. So these next two shots in this match for both guys are big because Glazer can get back in this if he throws the next two.
And Steven just leaves a 10 pin.
That's the lack of, oh, that's $1. Steven Zimmer just cost himself $1. Now, I would normally slap out a strike as opposed to a spare effort, but, it's his money.
Well, I think he's just trying to relieve a little tension and also maybe try and set himself up for this next spare.
Yeah, I think basically he was pissed off.
Well, that's what I was basically saying, but in a different way.
Well, that's why you're here, Bill. You're the class. You're the class of this effort, I promise. Good spare by Zimmer there. Keeps it clean. Cost himself $1. The cashing check ain't going to feel quite as good anymore, but we could use the buck in the fund. We need to get Brett Shepard down here to collect that $1. I don't know if he's around anymore.
And Jim steps up in the sixth frame and buries it.
Steve Zimmer.
Really nice job.
Zimmer leaves a weak 2 pin where it could have been a 210. Glazer strikes. You know why? The sleeve. It's the sleeve. Trust me.
Yeah, Jim made a really good shot. The ball looked good off his hand. Read the lane very well. All 10 back.
You couldn't be surprised by it. He left a wrap 10 on that lane last time on a really good shot.
Okay, and Jim was down on one knee for that shot, and in the 7th frame, he strikes again.
Seemed like he wanted that one.
I think he definitely did, Ken, yeah.
Nice effort, Bill. This just became a match, and I don't think Zimmer's real comfortable about it at all. Although I'll tell you right, if those of you were not here all day to see this, Zimmer has went through Shepard and Wolf and Burkhart to get where he's at. It's been a grind for him, and he's not backed down anybody. I don't think the nerves ain't going to get to him at this point.
No, I think he'll step up and he'll make a good shot. And he does. He steps up, he makes a good shot.
He made you look good. Everyone's clapping for Steve, and I'm rooting for Glaser.
Well, I am too, because Glaser and I are closer to the same age.
Well, I'm actually lied. I'm actually not rooting for either one of these guys.
He's closer to your age too. I forgot about
kids.
that.
I kind of like these kids both. So.
Oh yeah.
I really, you know what? I'm actually not rooting for anyone here. This is
No,
really rare. For me, I'm usually rooting for someone.
It's anybody's game, and they're both nice people, and nobody's. I don't think anybody's rooting against anyone.
So you're saying Glazer's nice people?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just I want to get that on record. I know you and Jim have a history. I know you and Jim have a history of getting in big arguments in the bowling center. So, okay, I made that up, but I just want to see what kind of response I get out of you. What a lot of people don't know at this point is that Jim Glazer's been having a lot of foot problems, and I'm a little surprised on a grind like today he's been able to do it. He's been off for 2 weeks, just trying to get ready for this tournament. It means that much to him.
And Ken, up in the 8th frame, Steve Zimmer leaves a split, and he converts it. He converted the split. So that is a big shot. That's a big shot. That keeps him in the match.
Do you know what? I'd be impressed, but I picked up a 310 last night. And you pick up splits. I picked up a 310. Bill, is it that much harder to pick up a 6-7-10 than a 310?
I would think so, yes.
Oh, so I can't feel good about my 310 conversion.
Really, you can't.
I had 2 of them.
Still, it's not the same thing.
I guess what it really comes down to is I left 2 of them.
Right.
Let's make it back about the match again and not about me.
Exactly.
For the moment.
Okay, and Jim was down on the knee again, and another strike for Jim. That's 4 in a row for Glaser.
Okay, this match has quickly become into a pin count situation. Zimmer has managed to be on 168 in the 7th with a spare working. Jim Glaser is still on 67 with a 4-bagger, but the pin count could end up being a huge factor in this one.
Yeah, Ken, you're right. It could very well be a big factor in this point. If Jim throws another one here, though, he's going to definitely put some pressure on the young man.
Pressure, hell, he'll pull the rest of his hair out. He'll look like me. Poor Zimmer, he's going to feel it real bad. And my guess is he throws this one.
I believe you're right. Yes, and that is another one. So we're talking a 5-bagger for Glaser.
That's huge. And
that is huge, especially at any point in a game. And Zimmer stepping up now in the 9th frame. And he needs this one, Ken. He's going to have to take it off the sheet. He's really going to have to take it off the sheet.
He does go 9th and 10th now. He can close Jim Glaser out with all 4. Anything less than that, Glaser can either beat him or tie him.
And that was a good shot. That's a good shot.
That's the one I slap out. That's the one that I slap out.
Yeah, that was a high flush.
But that was huge because
that was big.
He's probably going to lose this
big.
game if he does not strike there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he had to strike there, Ken. And he still needs to fill all the frames. He's getting up in the 10th frame right now.
A spare strike by Steven here makes Jim throw the first one in the 10th. The strike here makes Jim throw the first 2. Oh, that's a good shot. That is such a good shot. It's such a big moment.
Yeah.
Now, that's where you go back.
That's where he really put the pressure on at this point.
We go back to what you talked about. These kids are programmed now. They're brought up on this. They're made to do this.
Again, they're fearless. They don't squeeze it. They don't get nervous. They get up there. They make the shot. They thrive on the pressure.
He throws this one here. He only needs 9 to guarantee himself a tie. Right now, he's already made Jim throw the first 2 in the 10th.
Yeah. And that's a good shot off his hand.
It's a little tighter. That was tighter.
And he carries a 4-pin. He trips a 4-pin.
Wow. I mean, seriously? Now, if this was TV and that was Brad Angelo and he was bowling Chris Barnes, we'd have a fight in our hands almost. I mean, Brad Angelo will slap that
Actually, that was a good shot. He tripped the 4-pin. It did go a little bit high, but at least it wasn't a Brooklyn.
He tugged the hell out of it, and it was a Brooklyn.
No, he did not tug that can, and it wasn't a Brooklyn. It was half flush. Tripped the 4.
Oh, wow. Needs a moment. Is he calling for a re-rack, Bill?
No, I don't believe he is. I think he's just stepping off the approach for a minute. Something may have not felt quite right, and so now he's ready to go. And that's a good shot. And that was another high flush shot.
That's big. That's big.
That's big. So that
And he split his pants, I believe.
Well, actually, he split his pants earlier in the day. But
Wow.
That's going to force Glaser to throw the first 2.
I know it's my son. I know.
Actually, Jim lost. The best he can do is 248, 247.
You're right, Ken. That's right. Yeah.
Jim lost. He'll
Yeah.
he'll spend this time here lining up for the next game. Make sure he's. But this lane's been good the whole game for him. He's struck or left 10 pins on this lane. Yeah, that's not going to be his
And
problem.
yeah.
That
Well,
lane
the
will
thing
not
of it
be his
is,
problem.
once you know that you're out of it, your next 3 shots in the 10th, usually you're going to strike out because all the pressure's off of you. You're relaxed, and you just throw 3 good pitches.
You got to give Zimmer a lot of credit. That was
A lot of
that
credit.
Was really
That was
big.
huge.
And
That
hey,
was
take another way
huge.
from Jim. Jim throws a 5-bagger when he had to have it to put the pressure on Zimmer, and Zimmer answered it.
Yep. Actually, you couldn't really ask for a better match.
Wow, this is pretty good. Scoring's been pretty low all day for the most part.
For the most part, it
and
has
they're
been,
throwing
yes.
240s up here at us at this point.
2 240s.
Another note from my producer. By the way, my producer wanted me to remind everybody. Let's not forget this effort here and the prize money that has been able to be paid out to these people is because of donations from Ellis Badenhausen, which is really, for those of us in the bowling community, it's Tom Steltenkamp, and he is a really big supporter of bowling in the GLBA. And Mike Sanders, Home Builders. We all know Mike. We all love Mike. But I'll tell you right now, if you're going to remodel, somebody doing something, you know somebody saying, I'm looking for a builder. I need plans of some kind drawn. You got to go with Mike Sanders. He's a great guy, and he's one hell of a builder because I've seen his stuff. Also, we
Back
want to
to the
thank.
match.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, back to the match. Okay, we have a final. It's 248 to 235 in favor of Steve Zimmer.
Well, I think now what they're doing is they're discussing who starts and who finishes, and I believe Jim has the choice no matter what. Jim is the higher seed.
Right.
So Jim will get to decide that. While they're talking through that, I just want to let everybody know we are at AMF Derby Lanes today. They've been nice enough to host this and take real good care of the bowlers, and they give a good deal on the lineage. So once again, you can get a good prize fund. And we want to thank Extreme Reaction Pro Shop, which is the pro shop here at Derby Lanes. Mock PCs, which is part of this effort that you're hearing right now, and Elite Online Design. All of them have a lot to do with why we're listening to this and why we're here today. Now let's get back to the sleeve that Glazer's wearing. What's the benefit of the sleeve?
Actually, Ken, I'm not sure what the benefit of that is. We probably would have to ask Jim. I've noticed that the last few times that he's bowled in competition, though, he has been wearing it.
I see what you're saying. So do you think Jim has a chance at a sponsorship deal down the road for this sleeve if he wins this tournament?
He may very well be. May very well be that, yes.
The poster child of the sleeve.
Of the sleeve, yeah. Yeah, he's the Michael Jackson of bowling.
Thing is it's not
Michael
only
Jackson
functional.
had the glove.
Exactly. It's not
Jim
only
Glazer's got
functional.
the sleeve.
It's damn sexy. Here we go.
It may be something therapeutic. It may be putting heat pressure, on a joint or something that's been giving him some pain, giving him some issues.
Not like I have any clue what I'm talking about, seriously, but I think more often than not it's psychological as much as anything, too. You feel better because you're wearing it.
That was a good pitch. That was a fast 8.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we
just
want to call
blow
it a
the
fast 8. It
pins
was
right
a
around
touch
it.
high, but it was pretty much
Yeah.
a fast 8. It was a good
Yeah,
shot.
it was a fast 8. Just blew the pins right around the 4-7.
I need a beer.
I could use one too.
Need a beer? Do we have any beer?
You commenting on that? Where you're supposed to be. I think that's kind of lame.
Just a second. I met Mike Kahn's mom is here. Mom Kahn, what did you have to say?
Instead of Steven gives up the chance to be your color commentator with you and instead chooses to be in the finals to bowl for $1,000.
I'm not saying I'm not hurt. I'm not saying I think I should have been worth it that he gave up the ball. I think he should have dumped the last match to be here with me.
I would have thought that would have been a bigger,
Thrill.
pot, and bigger.
Bragging rights.
Yeah.
Now I could have only paid him 100 cents. I couldn't have paid him the $1,000. But
Right, but 100 cents would have worked.
what is time with me really worth?
A lot.
Thank you.
Priceless. Actually, it's priceless, like MasterCard. Priceless.
This moment brought to you by Mama Khan. Thank you.
Okay, we're getting back to the match now. In the first frame, Glaser has had an open where Zimmer has struck. He's getting ready to throw the second frame, and he doesn't like it off his hand, and the results are bad.
I believe that's called a Greek church. Am I correct?
I believe that's what that's called too, Ken.
Would you say a conversion rate on this would be a percentage if you had to throw it on there? What's the chances he makes this?
Oh gosh, probably 1 in 9.
1 in 9, my ass. 1 in 100. I've been bowling for 40 years. I picked it up one time. I didn't want to hear that. It's 1 in 100. He picks this up. We got miracles on our hands.
Okay, and he
Smart thing gets the count.
he got the count. He got the count. He took the 3.
Especially working on a strike. Get your count there. I thought he made a big mistake in the previous match. He was bowling Burkhardt, and he actually hit a 4-6-7. Only got 1, and it almost cost him in the end. He was actually down a stick at one point because he didn't take his count. So I was glad to see him just take his count there and move on from there. He gave Glaser a huge gift after Glaser whiffed on a 4-7.
Well, and a lot of times too, when a bowler does that, it's just out of frustration, Ken.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I understand. At the same time, you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay in the moment. And when he did that, I believe it was the 5th, 6th frame, and he could see the fact that he knew that count could matter. Now, luckily, we're currently being joined by Matt Ogle. Matt Ogle also participated in the tournament today. Matt, I noticed you didn't bowl with a sleeve. Do you think it cost you?
Absolutely. I think, he has a great advantage with the sleeve. It keeps his arm in check, and he knows what he's doing when he has it on.
Now, Bill Groves feels that the sleeve on Glaser is like the glove on Michael Jackson. Can you see a future where Glaser becomes the poster child for the sleeve?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My color commentators are just full of insight. I want to thank them all for stopping by today. Now
Okay,
Jim
Jim just picked up the baby split on the second frame.
Now, you won't see this at competition very often. Glaser and Zimmer are actually talking. My guess is who's going to buy the beer after they get done because they're. See this now? Oh, I think we have issues. I think Glaser said, your hair is bullshit. And then Zimmer looked at him and said, yeah, well, that sleeve is unfair. I like where this is going. The chance there could be a fisticuffs can only help.
Well, I don't really think it'll get to that. These two are both professionals.
Actually, neither one is a professional, but Jim has a
yes.
sleeve.
All right, and Jim really liked that shot off his hand. He almost slapped that out, but he gave it a good at the end.
Until he knows he's going to win the 1,000, he's not costing himself $1. That's veteran. That's a veteran. That's a guy who's been there before. He knows what matters. He's not going to give up the $1. Zimmer gave up $1 on a 10-pin. It wasn't bright. It just wasn't bright.
Okay,
That was a quality shot.
Zimmer made a good shot on that one. Well, got the ball a little bit right, Ken. Leaves the 7-pin, so should be an easy pickup.
Yeah, Glaser thought the 4-7 was an easy pickup too. How'd that work out for him?
Well, it didn't work out very well.
Okay, just checking. Poor Matt Ogle. Once again, Matt Ogle. Am I wrong?
Not at all.
See,
and Zimmer-
that's why Matt Ogle's the best color man in the business. Is talk like that. This guy, he's money. What he brings to it, the insight he brings, and the quick wit, is what makes Matt Ogle who he is. It's a pretty big shot in a match right now, especially with Jim on a strike right now. They both.
Early going, they're both struggling a little bit, Ken.
Right. So I think the fact that Jim could double and put this match away, this is a really big shot, and that's a good shot.
And you're right, Ken. That was a very good shot. That's probably one of the best shots of the match.
It's currently the best shot for sure. The best shot we've seen in the last 34, 35 seconds.
Probably so.
I notice Jim goes to that brush a lot. Why do you think he does it?
Jim's always used the brush a lot. He's evidently has a little bit of trouble with his slide, a little bit of trouble possibly with the approaches, and he goes that brush a lot and just to keep his slide foot clean. Yeah, Jim didn't like that one off his hand. He actually walked that out of lane, so he's left with a washout. But he should be able to convert this. He's seen it a lot of times, I'm sure, in his career.
You're going what? What percentage he makes this?
I believe he'll make it, Ken. I really do.
You know what? I kind of thought he would too. I'd give you some crap about that. I thought he was going to make it also. You know, if you have not noticed, I've been a note handed me by Gelman, our producer, that Zimmer has now won two. He's won 2 matches through this run by a stick, which means he's got the steel. He's got it what it takes at the moment when it matters to throw the shot to get it done.
Well, that was evident by the last match. I mean, he was actually behind. He got up and made 4 quality shots and won the match.
Okay, and this is being taped and it'll be for viewing in the future. So I'm going to phrase this politically correct. Jim Glaser just got hosed. Now, we all know the word I really want to use right there at this moment, but boy, did he get hosed.
Well, he did, Ken, and you wonder how a ball that's as old as the ball that he's throwing, and from the year that he's throwing the ball, that it would leave a stone 9-pin like that.
Actually, I think it's a credit to him as a bowler.
And very well could be.
It really is. That was such a good shot. He's coming off, leaving a washout. You don't know where his head's at. He throws a quality shot like that, leaves a 9-pin. He got you-know-whatted.
I agree with you, Ken. Yeah, he did. Okay, Steve Zimmer liked that one. He liked that off his hand, and the result was good. And he's a double right now. He's got a double right now,
It's
and
Zimmer's match to lose.
you're exactly right, Ken. It's Zimmer's match to lose.
He has taken this from going loser's bracket forward and really got himself in trouble with Glazer on that 5-bagger going to the 9th frame last game and pulled himself out of this.
Pulled
And
himself
now
out.
It's his. It's
Yeah.
his. It's his to lose.
It's his game. It's his game to lose and his match to lose.
Take 5 minutes, 5-second break, go look outside.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Zimmer has something going for him that he just lost, and that was pin count.
Yes. He just left a 3-6-10. Not an easy spare. And this spare is very choppable, Ken. So we just have to see what he does here.
This is big because this could bring Jim right back into it.
It could very well. It very well could.
And he just
Oh,
chopped
and yes, you're right,
And
Ken.
he
He
just
did.
chopped
He
it.
just chopped it.
You know what, though? It gives Jim hope, and that's the one thing at this moment he did not want to do. He did not want to give Jim even a glimmer.
Right. Because usually your opponent opens, and the other person is going to capitalize on that. So Jim just needs to bear down and make a good shot and get right back into this match.
Zimmer's head has been in a mode of having to grind it out, though, and do this since almost the beginning of the day. He's been in the loser's bracket since game 2. That's a long road.
That is a long road. That is.
At this point here, Glazer is not going to catch a break, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't look like it. Jim made a good shot. The ball labored a little bit, didn't quite hit, and he's left with a 7-pin.
And this is going to end up being, right now, unless things turn drastically, Jim's lowest game since match play began. Jim has shot 210 or better every game of match play with a high of 267. This guy's been on fire, and he may have caught a bad pair or bad breaks at the worst possible time.
I think it's more so probably that the bad breaks, Ken. I don't think it's a bad pair, actually.
I agree with you on that because he's left a couple wrap 10s. He left that 9-pin.
Well,
a fast 8 to start the game.
Obviously,
whiffed.
the lanes have definitely gone through some kind of a transition because we were looking at high scores last game. We talked about 248, 247. Now we're looking at.
Jim
All right.
carries one.
Yeah, he carried
Jim
that one.
carries one. And for what it's worth, that makes this a game. It is now 94 for Jim in the 6th on a strike. Steven Zimmer has 101 on an open. Jim throws the next strike. He actually takes back the lead in the game.
Well, and not only that, after Jim threw that strike, he looked at Zimmer and just let him know that I'm still in this. This is not your match just yet.
It was big. I'll tell you right now, though, that if he carries that set, it's been a 9-pin, a 7-pin, and a high flush strike for Glazer. And
Zimmer's a high flush on that pitch
gotta
there.
love it. Zimmer,
So he's just
after the open, bared right back down.
bared right back down, Ken, and he told Glazer, I'm not going anywhere either. I'm in this match also.
I know Steven Zimmer's wearing a white belt. Now, you wouldn't think a white belt would go with black shoes, black shorts, and I don't know what color that shirt is. Is it pumpernickel? I don't know what that is. Where does the white belt come from?
Looks to me like the 80s.
So you're saying it's a nod to Glazer's bowling ball.
Oh,
Speechless?
oh, wait a minute, Ken.
What?
You missed it. Steve Zimmer slapped one out. A la
So
Pete
he's down.
Weber.
He's down $2 now.
Yeah, he did a.
Yeah. Now we'll have to make sure Joe
Not
Elam
only
knows
did
to
he, not only
subtract
did he
$2
slap
from
it out,
it.
he did a chop at the waist.
He went Pete Weber.
He went Pete Weber on Glazer. He sure did. Yeah.
Another nod to the 80s. Between the belt, Jim Glazer, and the bowling ball, that's a lot of 80s.
It is a lot of 80s. You're right.
This is the match.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
Well, and Ken, that just goes to show the same thing we were talking about earlier about the bowling ball being of an older era. It's a urethane bowling ball. The ball just didn't hit quite hard enough to carry that 7-pin.
It was such a good shot.
It was a little light.
Let's not make any excuses.
But
you
it was
carry that shot 90% of the time in bowling. He got screwed.
But it was a little light.
He
Ken.
got screwed.
It was a little light.
Glazer has bowled so good.
He has,
nothing
and he
to
made
show
a good
for it.
shot there.
Just
he made a
nothing
good
to
shot
show
there.
for it.
And you're right, Ken. He's gone 7-pin, 7-pin. He's gone
I'm saying
9-pin.
Listen, and I'm not taking
You know.
anything away from Steve Zimmer.
No,
what I'm saying
no,
is,
but I
that
think what we're
Zimmer
seeing-
has carried all the hits he should carry.
Well,
Glazer
and I
has
think
not.
what we're seeing though is the reason that Zimmer has carried a lot of those hits
Equipment.
is equipment.
Not talent, equipment.
Well, you can't
I'm
say
not,
that.
I'm not
You
being
really-
mean. I'm being serious right now.
Right,
You're saying
right.
they're both making quality shots, but the equipment is giving Jim Carrey.
Yes, or giving.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't mean it in a mean
Steve
way.
Carey.
Did not mean it in a mean
Giving
way.
Steve Carey. Yeah, I think the
You know what,
equipment
for
has
what's
hurt.
worth, I think I like what your head said.
I think equipment has hurt Jim. Now, there he did. He just carried that 10-pin on that shot there.
Wow. And here's where we're at, folks. We got Jim Glazer is at 134 in the 8th with a strike working. Steve Zimmer 101 in the 6th with a double working. Pretty much this shot's the match. If Zimmer goes up with those a strike here, it's
It's pretty much over.
Glazer's not getting there, okay?
It's pretty much over at that point. So.
Unless Steve does something drastic in the 10th. I
Yeah.
just don't see happening right
Yeah,
now. With
if
the
he-
exception of the
yeah, he's got to
the
do-
washout Glazer's left, they've pretty much been in the hole, throwing good shots.
Mm-hmm.
No one's lost out there right now. So
Right.
I think this is it. This is for the hair, the white belt, and the 2010 bowling ball.
Oh,
And he buckets.
and Noel
So much-
actually he
well,
broke down the bucket. Ken. He broke
bucketed.
down the bucket.
Let's not kid ourselves. He
Well,
pretty much left a bucket.
He did leave a bucket, but it did break down.
Well-
He's only faced now with a 2-pin.
But when you look at count, Steven now has to throw a double in the 10th, the first two in the 10th to shut Jim out. He
True.
goes spare strike. He goes spare strike spare. It's 190. Glazer can go 94 still. That was big, and I'll tell you what, and it gave Jim the opening he needed. Steven has to throw the first two to shut Jim out. Anything less than that, Jim's fate is in his own hands.
Yes, he can
Which
get
I
up.
kinda
He can
like.
get up in the 10th. He can strike out in the 10th, and he can win this match. Yes.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to our public. I don't want Steven to double. And here's why. I think Jim's bowled well enough. I'd like to have a chance to win the match.
Based on his performance all day, the fact that
That's what I'm saying.
he's coming out of the winner's bracket.
That's a great shot.
Oh, and that was a flat 10.
Just became a match. Now
Yeah,
it's a match.
yeah.
And what I'm saying by that is, I'm going to tell you right now, I have never watched a match. I've been more indifferent about who wins. I don't care who wins. I like them both equally.
Oh, and
what
I
I'm saying
feel the
is,
same.
I think I didn't want Jim not to have a chance because he's thrown the ball well enough. He deserves it.
Yes. Yeah.
I do want
And
Steven
that-
to make this spare though, because I
Oh,
want Jim to
definitely,
have
because
to.
then that will
Right.
give us a match.
Right, and he
Oh, and
tugged
he
it.
didn't. He didn't. He tugged it. He rushed the shot a
Here's
little
the thing:
bit.
Jim still needs the first one.
Yeah.
Jim still needs that. Gives Steven a 178, and Jim still needs the first one in the 10th and count to win.
Yeah, and Jim's been there before, Ken. I think he'll do it. I think he's going to step up here in the 10th frame, and I think he's going to throw a strike on that first pitch.
I will say this: Jim's on this lane so far. Jim has left a soft 7, and a 9-pin in this game. I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly.
I don't believe the 9-pin was on this lane,
Was it
Jim.
the other lane?
Yeah, Ken, it was on lane 5.
If you look
It
up
was
this-
on lane
if you look-
5.
If you look up at his even numbered frames.
But you're right. It was on lane 5
This lane has
on the
been
stone
mean.
9. However, I think he's going to bear down and he's going to get that.
I think he'll strike.
I think he'll strike. I do. Oh, that was
High
dead
flush.
flush. That was high flush.
High flush.
That was
Great
high
shot.
flush. That was a great shot.
I mean, in the
Great
moment,
shot, Jim. Great shot.
In the moment, you got to have it. You got the stones to throw that shot. You got to take your hat off. Have to.
Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of good to see the old guard take care of business, keep the young kids down a little bit where they belong. I'm not wrong, am I?
I don't think so. No, I don't believe you're wrong at all.
I got to say, I didn't root for anybody that entire match, but I really rooted for Jim to throw that strike.
And I did too, Ken. I did. I really felt like he would do it, and he stepped up and he made the shot. There's your champion, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. He got up and he threw the double.
I think that's a pretty popular win for what it's worth. I think a lot of people, I think this is a guy they know deserves this. Has worked really hard over the years, deserves to win this tournament. He was the #1 seed in qualifying, and he's the #1 at the end, and that's the way it should go. Jim was the high qualifier in
He was,
qualifying today,
yes.
and he never looked back.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, we have our winners. We have our winner, Jim Glaser. Steven Zimmer, nice runner-up finish. It was a heck of a run. Thanks for coming out. I would like to take this time to thank Derby Lanes, Ellison Baldwin Health Orthopedics, Mike Sanders Home Builders. All of these people are what make these tournaments possible. Jim, congratulations on the win, Jim. Leading the tournament, made it close, and then getting it done. Congratulations.
All right. I appreciate that. Good job running it. Thank you. As always.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thanks, guys.